Hey, so let's start with our seventh experiment for the DLIC. So here we have the schematic in front of us as an inverting Schmidt trigger. So Schmidt trigger, we use a Schmidt trigger is a device that uses a sinusoidal input and it converts it to the square wave generator. So we can say that it's a square wave generator. So we use Schmidt trigger because as we have seen in the previous experiment, that when we use comparators with higher frequencies, we have seen that noise creeps in, and due to that the input deviates from its path. The input deviates from its path and we don't get a very reliable output, and the toggling is not very reliable, that is from 0 to 1, and it doesn't give us a perfect approximation of the output that we have to take or we have to understand. So we use a Schmidt trigger. The main advantage of Schmidt trigger is that it has two reference voltages. So it has upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage. So upper threshold voltage is useful for the lower to upper transitions, lower to higher transitions, and the lower threshold voltage is useful for higher to lower transitions. So as we can see over here, that negative at the non-inverting terminal we have given the input, hence it is an inverting Schmidt trigger. And at the positive or at the non-inverting terminal, we have given some part of the output which we have calculated with the use of beta. Beta is equal to R2 upon R1 plus R2 into VSAT. So our VSAT being 15 volts and our R2 and R1 being 2 volts and 2K and 12K respectively. Thus we calculate the value of beta, which comes out to be 2 nearer to 2 volts, that is 2.14 volts, and which is given to which a part of it is given back to the positive or the non-inverting terminal. So let's first check for the small frequency 50 hertz, and let's change the transient time to just 0 0.1. Yeah, so let's check this. We should get a very square wave at the output. Yes, so which we are getting. So we can see that when for the positive cycle of the Vn we get a negative Vsat, and for the negative cycle of the Vn we get a positive Vsat. So our main issue was at a higher frequency. So let's check that for 5K and for transient of 0.001. See this. Yeah. So as you can see that there is it still has this triangular waveform over here, but as you can see that they are not deviated from its path. As you can see that when it's a positive cycle we know that it goes to a negative Vsat, and when it's positive and it's a negative cycle it goes nearer to the positive Vsat. Hence we can make out that it's 0 or 1 at that point of time, and it's a better design, better, it's efficient than what we use with a normal comparator without giving the factor of the beta. So this was the inverting Schmidt trigger. So the second part of the experiment will be an astable multivibrator. Uh, yes. So this is the astable multivibrator. The thing over here is that we generate a square wave with in accordance in sync in resonance in resonance with the way that the capacitor is charging and discharging. So the capacitor here is charges and discharges with via the resistor of 4.55K, and this is a square wave generator over here, and this is a factor of beta which we are giving. So let us take the output over here. So this is the output that we were expecting, that is a square wave generated. So for better understanding, which will take over our input 2, and let's first just see the input. Yeah, so this is the input. As you can see that from 0 milliseconds to 1 milliseconds, it is the time taken by the capacitor to charge itself, and then it discharges and then it charges again and then it discharges. So the curve over here it depicts the charging, and the downward slope over here depicts the discharging of the capacitor. Let us check the output now. Yeah, so this is the output that we are getting. So the value is 0 volts DC from 0 to 1 milliseconds, because the capacitor charges at that point of time. It takes the time to hold the charge, to take the charge upon itself. Then it discharges. So for the discharge we get a negative Vsat, and then it again starts charging. For that we get a positive VSAT. So in this way, the cycle of charging and discharging, we get a positive negative VSAT for the rectangular wave generated over here. So the third part of the experiment will be using the astable multivibrator to generate a sawtooth waveform and to generate a ramp or triangular waveform. So for that we can ramp wave generator. So the thing over here is that we use two op amps. So the first op amp, which is thoroughly identical to the astable multivibrator, the part that is before the R1 till over here, this is the part of an is the whole part of a stable multivibrator. And the second part after the R1, post R1, this whole part is nothing but an integrator. So the integrator, so the working works, so the working of the circuit is like this, that when the stable multivibrator generates a series of rectangular wave or a square wave, as we can, or a rectangular wave, or it goes through R1 to the non-inverting terminal, and the non-inverting terminal, when it goes to the non-inverting terminal, an integrator is used, and hence it changes or it converts the square wave or a rectangular wave generated to a series of ramps, positive ramps and negative ramps. So let's check the output. So this will be our input before R1, as I said. So let's check it. So yes, this was the output that we were getting at the end of a stable multivibrator, and to check that we can check to see if the charging and discharging of the capacitor is in sync with it. Yeah, so as we can see that the discharging and the charging of the capacitor in sync with the positive and negative VSAT, hence the output is correct. And we can also check the V out. So final V out that we were expecting, and it is like this. When it's a negative VSAT, that is when the capacitor is discharging, we get a positive ramp. And when the capacitor is charging, that is a positive VSAT, which is in sync of the green waveform, we get a negative ramp over here. So the output is correct. So moving on to the sawtooth waveform generator. Yes, let me open the schematic. Yeah, so this is the schematic for the sawtooth waveform generator. First is an astable multivibrator, then two Zener diodes that we have connected over here, and then the second one is an op amp which we have used to get the final output at the terminal of V out. And we have used the input and output with the 50% duty cycle, so the on and off time will be symmetrical, and the V in will be taken from here. So this is the V in and V out. So as you can see, for the sawtooth waveform generated, the on and off time is symmetrical. Hence we get this sawtooth waveform generated. The discharging time is more, and the charging time is taken by the sawtooth waveform for by the capacitor is greater than the discharging time. Hence it discharges more quickly and takes a greater time to charge to the value. So this is the waveform. So for each peak, or as you can say each rectangular waveform, we get a series of sawtooths, and this is a sawtooth generator. And this was our final part for the experiment number 7 of DLIC. Thank you.